darling. I am Lakia Mack, your investy bestie, and today, you know your girl is still hype because I'm now offering property management services. So you already know that today's video is all about property management. I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Well, y'all know I always segue, but I ain't even gonna try to hold y'all today. We're gonna jump right into it. So today we're talking about how much property management actually costs. Now, most landlords think property management costs around 10% of their rent. But what if I told you it could actually cost you 0% or even make you money? Let's break down the numbers, see if it works for you. All right, let's start with the numbers that everybody always wants to know. What is the property management fee? Now, the typical range is usually between 8 and 12%, depending on your market. It's usually between 8 and 12% of the gross monthly rent. So if your property rents for $2,000 per month, you're looking at between $160 and $240 per month. Sorry about that. You're looking at between $160 and $240 per month for property management. Now, in some areas, people are just doing like a flat rate fee, but if you break it down, it still usually is between the 8 and 12% monthly fee. So that's the baseline, but it's not the whole story. Okay, it's not the whole story. So now let's talk about the hidden fees, and I do the air quotes because it will be listed in your property management, or it should be listed in your property management agreement. But if you don't actually review it or you don't understand it, you may miss it. So the first thing you have is the leasing fee. This is typically 50 to 100% of 1 month's rent. So going back to that $2,000 example that I gave you earlier, the leasing fee for that would be anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000. Now, this covers marketing, showing, screening, and of course placing the tenant. And then in addition to that, you also have the lease renewal fee, and that's usually between sometimes it'll be a flat fee, sometimes it'll still be a percentage. So going back to the $2,000 example, if it's 25%, then that would be $500 every time an existing tenant renews. And you may be thinking like, well, why do I have to pay for a tenant that's staying, that's already been placed? Well, because there's things that come along with that. There's different contracts, forms, and things that has to be done, inspections, just depending on how your property management agreement is structured. But also in addition to that, the property manager is doing you a great service by keeping that same tenant in the property instead of having to start from scratch, screen tenants again, get people to come in. So it's actually good. I mean, it's up to you whether you think it's a good fee or not, but it's standard. Now, one thing that a lot of people may not be aware of is maintenance markups. So some property managers may add like an additional 10% on top of repair costs, and this is just to coordinate vendors and handle the process. Now, I'm a big believer in transparency, as you know, but so I feel like because none of these fees really matter unless you understand the value behind them. So I have no problem with saying, what the fees are. So now, as the landlord, the big question for you is it worth it? And here's the thing, where most landlords look at it the wrong way. They see property management as an expense, right? But the smarter way to look at it is, it's like insurance. Insurance for your time, insurance for your property, insurance for your income, which is major. So let me give you a real life example. I had one written down on my screen, but I'm gonna have to go through and find it. Okay, so let's say a property rents for $2,500 a month, right? And it sits vacant for 1 month. So you've already lost $2,500. Now, if a property manager can get the property leased within 2 weeks, and shout out to me because I just got a property leased in 4 days. I got to plug myself because if I don't believe in me, I don't expect you to believe in me. And baby, I believe in me. Okay? That's one thing you're going to know for sure. I believe in me. But back to the subject at hand. So if a property manager can get the property leased in 2 weeks through through better marketing, better pricing strategy, and tenant screening, you just saved $1,250, right? That's your management fee right there. It's basically covered. because they just saved you. Excuse me. Now, it's not just about vacancy. We haven't even talked about things such as, excuse me, avoiding bad tenants, preventing costly legal mistakes. And even though I have over 20 years of legal experience, I am not an attorney. I cannot and will not give legal advice, but the goal is to prevent costly legal mistakes. Also, handling late payments and evictions correctly. Let me tell you something, especially some of these, I ain't about to name any county specifically, but around, okay, one mistake can like set you back 3 months. You could be at the end of the eviction process, and one single mistake can set you back 3 months. One bad tenant can cost you thousands of dollars. And it can happen with anybody. I mean, sometimes it's not even that the tenant is bad. I mean, life happens, right? The tenant could lose a job. It could be, unfortunately, a death in the family. It could be a number of things that sometimes is just out of our control because life happens. Things happen. Your property manager is there to try to help alleviate that in any way they can. A good property manager will try to help alleviate that. So the real question isn't, does property management cost 8 to 12%? The real question is, how much is your time worth, right? How much risk are you willing to take to manage everything yourself? Because if your time is better spent earning more income, growing your portfolio, or just not dealing with 2 a.m. maintenance calls, then property management isn't just an expense, it's a leverage tool. I feel like I just outdid myself the way I worded that. But it's true. It is just a leverage tool. Just like in life, everything is not for everyone. Having a property manager may not be for you, and that's completely fine. You can still learn something from liking and subscribing to my channel and support your girl. Who else? I mean, I don't know. I was going to say, who else gives you what I give you with all this joy, this positivity, this love? Maybe there is someone out there. I don't know. I haven't found them. And most importantly, I know my heart. And if you meet me, you'll get to know my heart too. And I'm also a lame nerd, but I love that about me. I don't want to be like everybody else. Okay, I'm segueing again. Okay, so if you're a landlord and you're trying to decide whether it makes sense in your situation, I'm happy to help break down the numbers. I mean, you may not even be in my area, but I mean, if I can help you with your numbers, I'm happy to help. Like always, if you are ready to turn confusion into queens and questions into what? Close deals, baby. Hit my line. 470-948-5545 or email your girl, lakia@lakiamac.com. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video, which is always twice as long as I ever intended to be. And if you got any value out of what I'm saying, please hit that like and subscribe button because it really helps. Oh, shout out y'all to, I think the last time I checked I had like 67 subscribers. And of course we could break down the numbers with my kids and my mama and everybody else. But 67, that makes me so incredibly happy. So thank you so much for taking the time. Again, I am Lakia Mac, your investy bestie. In my head, music just started playing.